So Mitt Romney, there was tape that was, basically picked up by Mother Jones, and then I think it was also picked up, by NBC, that found audio, an actual full-on video of Mitt Romney at a fundraising campaign earlier in the year, and he was kind of breaking down some of his feelings about certain things and certain ideas, that he thought, about the election and stuff like that. I believe we might even have a clip of it.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. But it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what. And I mean, the president starts off with 48, 49, 40...
I'm sorry, what? Perhaps I had to have heard that incorrectly, Eljoy, right? I mean, that can't be Mitt Romney saying such a thing, can it?
I'm sorry. Wait. What?
I'm sorry. Oh, you're right, Eljoy. I'm sorry. Maybe I pushed through it too fast. Let me rewind that a bit for you, because I don't want it to seem like we're pushing past it.
All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. But it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what. And I mean, the president starts off with 48, 49, 40, he starts off with a huge number. These are people who pay no income tax. 47% of Americans pay no income tax. So our message of low taxes doesn't connect. And he'll be out there talking about tax cuts for the rich. I mean, that's what they sell.
Okay, let's have a moment, shall we? Shall we have a moment here? Let's just deal with some of the stuff that he just said just now. First of all, let's be honest here. Is this not the biggest middle finger Mitt Romney has given so far, that's come out? And the fact is, like, this happened earlier in the year, so he's been giving middle fingers for quite some time. We just didn't actively have audio of him giving the middle finger. So let's actually break this down a little bit. So one, the entitlement, the idea that we all want free stuff, that we specifically want free stuff, so that, by the way, Mitt Romney said this before. Mitt Romney said this after he addressed the NAACP and said he was going to repeal Obamacare. It was like, oh, if those people want free stuff, and then he pointed that out here again, he kind of goes back into that whole idea of entitlement. They think they deserve health care or whatever. Whereas it's not so much that people feel like they deserve health care. It's more that people feel like in this country, the country that's supposed to be so amazing, so exceptional, and yet we can't deal with healthcare like other countries that you can never speak of, because they're bad countries. They're European policies, and they're bad, yucky, Eljoy. We can't do healthcare like them, and some people are like, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind paying more taxes in order for our country to be able to, like, being sick wouldn't bankrupt me. That's kind of what people, so it's not so much, this idea of, I deserve free healthcare. It's like, as a country, we come together and we decide what's important and what's not important. And a lot of us have come to the conclusion that we feel healthcare is important. And even people that are against free healthcare, or the Affordable Care Act, because it's not free healthcare, but the Affordable Care Act, actually, a lot of them have healthcare covered by the government, Eljoy.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the idea of this being somehow people who just want this free stuff, cause it's a popular meme amongst Mitt Romney and his people that we want free stuff. And he's already said flat out black people want it.
Well, I think what's ultimately disturbing to me, right, is that they've categorized it in a way that that some of these benefits aren't earned. You know, that everybody is getting free stuff, that the seniors on Social Security did not earn their benefit, did not contribute, at some part in society, and that's the reason why they, are able to, excuse me, take in the benefits. It's sort of categorizing it as people don't contribute anything. That people don't contribute anything. And that they're just taking.
Wow, okay, don't breathe, it's okay. Apparently this is upsetting Eljoy. She was like, she was choking on the outrage that, Mr. Romney was throwing out there. And I can see that being the case. And it's the idea, like Eljoy, it really bugs me, this concept, because not only, you know what else this all proves? This all kind of shows that all of a sudden, magically, we've talked about Mitt Romney for quite some time. And we've talked about the idea that he was a big flip-flopper. He always did kind of what it was the most politically awesome thing for him to do in order to win and stuff like that. But at this point, basically, Mitt Romney has decided to have a backbone, but he can only have a backbone when it's against the underprivileged. He can only have a backbone when it's against people that he figures they won't vote for him anyway. So who cares? I'm going to stand up against you guys. You know what? 47% of people, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? That 47% that you quoted isn't even the proper number. A part of those votes of the 47% that don't pay income taxes actually going to vote for you, Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
And so he's saying these things, and he just keeps showing himself to be like what are we supposed to think anymore, Eljoy? At what point are we allowed to just go, he's a dick, right? He's like, I don't want him representing me.
Well, no, of course not, because he has disdain for people. And even people that were trying to last night compare it to Obama's statement in a private fundraiser, high dollar fundraiser. Remember the statement he said, they cling to their guns and their religion, during this time. But there's remarkably differences in their statements if you go on, so I listened to the whole thing that Mother Jones put up, and they just announced as well at 2:30 they're going to release, the entirety, of the film. It's about 43 minutes, they said. So they'll be releasing the whole thing around 2:30. But even in the context of that conversation, one, it seems to me that he was answering the question of how do you win? It's something that candidates get asked all the time, particularly from high donors.
Right.
As you go in a room and they're like, look, this doesn't look good. Your opponent's approval rating is this. The numbers say this. How are you winning this? Right? And so it seems that that's what he was asking, sort of how he was answering. I'm sorry. How does he win this? And in the midst of trying to give the numbers and sort of the breakdown of what he believes is his path to victory, he revealed himself, something that we always knew and we made fun of. We've made fun of him being disconnected from regular people and being the 1% and not knowing how the regular people, live, and that he has a disdain for them and treats them differently. And that was all summed up by this video, by that comment itself, is that he believes that he is separate and apart, as well as other people who are rich, and that they are the only ones that make this country run. They are the only ones that contribute to society. They are the only ones who create jobs. The fact that some Republicans last night on Twitter are telling me Wall Street creates jobs. For who? Wall Street doesn't create jobs for somebody in Wisconsin who has a bachelor's degree, maybe married with 2 kids, and lives in Wisconsin. What job are they getting on Wall Street?
They do make jobs, Eljoy, because what happens is that Wall Street then makes money, and if you then invest in Wall Street, then you get money, and then you get to go to Wisconsin and start a job?
Yeah.
No? I'm sure some people have done that, right?
And let's talk a little bit more about this 47% that we're talking about, because that upset me the most in terms of lumping people together, right? So 53.6% of the country pay income tax, right? About 28.3% pay payroll tax. So even if you don't pay income tax because you don't make enough money to pay tax on it, you still pay payroll tax. Yeah. You still pay the taxes that contribute to Social Security. Anybody that get a paycheck right now, even if you're making $30,000, $25,000 a year, there is still that line item that comes out of your check that contributes to Social Security, that contributes to health. You still contribute through taxes. It's just not income tax. 10.3% of our elderly who either probably worked at some point in their life and contributed to the society, so their Social Security is earned income, something that they contributed before. Or if I'm 92 years old, what job am I having? What income? My grandmother, who's 86 years old, who cannot work but worked all of her life, has a pension and Social Security. What job is she having? So she does not make, and she makes $14,000 a year from her Social Security benefits. and you're saying that you don't care about her?
Well, I believe the answer is no, Eljoy. He doesn't, didn't we just discuss this yesterday about the idea that it's all about the electoral vote, and basically getting that percentage? And this is just yet another example of that being the case. Like, he specifically is like, listen, I'm not getting those votes, so you know what? Forget them. Here's what we gotta do. And it's really interesting when you watch a candidate have open disdain for you and everyone you care about.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening right here. If you're a little bit unclear as to what the issue is here, besides the fact that it's just a stupid thing to say politically speaking, and the fact that you thought that you would say this and that it would just never come out, I'm surprised it took this long for it to come out in all honesty.
He's an idiot. Whatever politician thinks that you're gonna go in a room and make any public comments and that the possibility that they could not be recorded, you're an idiot.
You're a hater.
I seem to know a lot.
What happened, Aaron?
I was gonna say he doesn't seem to know a lot. He doesn't know what he doesn't know what middle class income is. He doesn't seem to understand the actual positioning of the citizens of the country. So there's no way he's gonna know someone has a cell phone camera and can record. He doesn't. That's a lot of common sense goes over his head.
I don't know, sir. What I do know is this is highly problematic, to say the least.